Next, dissociative disorders. Dissociative disorders are disorders in which people lose contact with portions of their consciousness or memory, resulting in disruptions in their sense of identity. These disorders are somewhat controversial, as we'll see. There are several, but the textbook discusses only two of them. As you know, amnesia means loss of memory function. For instance, you can suffer amnesia after brain damage, like a stroke or a tumor, or with dementia. Now, there are different forms of amnesia, but importantly, those are the result of some or other form of neurological impairment, of brain damage. But in what's called dissociative amnesia, there's sudden loss of memory for important personal memories following psychological trauma. Of course, we all forget stuff from time to time. That's normal. But in dissociative amnesia, all of it is just too excessive to be due to normal forgetting. So again, this may happen after a traumatic or stressful event. And people can forget about the actual traumatic event, or they forget much larger parts of their life. Or sometimes forget their entire life, including who they are. Importantly, this is just memory for personal information. They keep other memories, like their memories for basic knowledge or their memories for how to do stuff. So despite the fact that this happens, it's really, really uncommon and unusual. Another dissociative disorder, which is also relatively uncommon, is dissociative identity disorder, or DID. In earlier versions of the DSM, this used to be known as, you guessed it, multiple personality disorder. So in this disorder we have multiple identities, all living in the same head. And the individual switches between those different identities. The transitions between those identities can be sudden, and the differences between them can be extreme. Each identity has their own name, their own memories, their own personality, their own preferences, their own physical mannerisms, and so on. I'm sure you've seen films with this. In fact, it seems that this disorder is more common in films than in real life. What about the etiology of dissociative disorders? Dissociative amnesia, like I said, usually happens in response to excessive stress. However, the stress is often not documented, and relatively little is known about why this extreme reaction occurs in such a tiny minority of people. Dissociative identity disorder is a fascinating and bizarre disorder, and its causes are again largely unknown. But nearly all people with DID have suffered extreme emotional trauma as a child, like abuse or severe neglect. And, so that's likely to be the root of the disorder. On the other hand, some people have suggested that the disorder is kind of manufactured by therapists. That people with this disorder are basically deluding themselves and are reinforced by depictions of the disorder in the media and are reinforced by their therapists. So, like I said, these disorders are controversial. What do you think?